You can deal. Yeah, that flight music got that movie feel. Remember when I used to go up in the East of Mars just to go out back through in the veil? Flight boss, baby, you gon' need me. Yeah, Archangel Uriel. Only spit crack, that's pure as hell. Go all night like a Duracell. Go against me, baby, you're in hell. I lost my wings a long time ago. Yeah. Bitch, I'm in heaven just waiting. Flight boss, bitch, don't need no recommendations. Nigga, we ain't doing shit without setting no wages. Pilot man be in a plane or jet or a spaceship. The kid is an angel. You wouldn't be who you are, depend on the angle. Me and your girl having sex, can't get us a tango. She in the 20s, why would you think the bitch would be faithful? You got baptized, you still ain't getting no halo. You niggas slow and retarded, your kids is disabled. Have faith in the shit, live from Draco. My nigga Raw came in this bitch like
this
that.
This energy will last for centuries, this isn't bigotry. Consume decide elastic energy, flow has to end the seed. It's meant to be, I up my energy, and now my energy is changing like the wind you breathe, expanding like the seven seas. I'm meant to me, learn myself, adapting constantly, patiently obtaining wealth. I'm acting modestly, they hate me when I don't help. I'm like the God you see, created as the cards dealt. I'm speaking honestly, I drop bars like a bells man, then cock arms like a mailman, then pump arms like a jail man. You touch fire like the hell saint, I'm hellish, ready for war, ready to score. Chill the opponent, baby the spores, faking the boy. I fathered the game, tended the soil, watered the seed. Witness the growth, watch as you beg for what you need, working for what you want as you take what life gives. Waking up every day, I see you dying to live. Don't fall short on the long road, don't get cut short, taking shortcuts. It's about moderation, take your time, homie. You gotta find yours, don't lose your mind, homie.
Damn, we on that one ship, bring a plane. We on that one ship, holy fame. We can go to war, bitch, anything. Freedom lords, bitch, let it rain.
You feel me? And you know, I like to break a lot of things down before we even get deep into it in this motherfucker shit to help people understand in this motherfucker shit. And you know, even to a clear perspective to help even the average individual understand why I call them and why I can prove it that they're fake Masons to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta break it down clearly for everybody, because people don't be truly understanding and shit like that. And it's like very simple, especially if you're able to track the linguistics of certain things. That's why I be trying to even, you know, inspire individuals to become a mental pilot. You know what I'm saying? Look to the West. And I'm not trying to be an opposer to the Jews, Jesuits, or the Masons or anything of that nature, but I'm just expanding the world. Whether they want to think I'm bringing light, I'm bringing darkness and teaching people how to create light and telling people that's not even a light. It's a desire on a macro and a micro scale. And it's based off fusion and friction. And a lot of times we don't need to fuse in those type of spectrums that individuals be calling light as forms of informations to correlate a desire we don't even necessarily need to have in the first place by understanding the mechanisms. You see what I'm saying? So I like to take people into the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, where we understand that from a mental mathematics and a physical mathematics. You know, in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, physically, astrology operative wise, you know, that's the formation that you see around you that create 3rd dimensional shapes and forms. But you know, you create your mind is a form, and you know that form can go more degrees and angles and ranges beyond the 3rd dimension. So you're able to make hypotheticals, you're able to set intent, you're able to look well-rounded over the circumstances situation. Okay, mathematically speaking, that will be beyond the 3rd dimension. So that is the only thing we could point to observe any shape or form that we're deriving, or we could even consider to be the 4th, 5th, or 6th dimension, to encapsulate it and make an electronic representation of it into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Which is why you got 480 on computers now, not just 360. You got 480, got 1020, and things of that nature. And it's just telling you more depth of field, more sharpness. You can see more of the scenario other than it being foggy and cloudy, like you're recording with a toaster. See what I'm saying? So that's how we bring the mathematics from the mind and make electronics and make things like that based on the mathematics that we're correlating within the mind. So velocity is always going to be correlated to speed. So that's thought. So anytime you even hear an ancient text or alchemy person giving a lecture, they're going to correlate the mind with speed, Hermeth, Thoth. You know what I'm saying? Herm. But Herm is more correlated to will, passion, ram, golden ram, and things of that nature. Fleece. But we get into all these different contexts of just, you know, jumping into these names, because that's why I be telling y'all actually have to be careful when y'all be trying to spend a lot of money on these esoteric books or learning about history and things of that nature, because you know you have to understand that all of these esoteric books, especially when it comes to joining masonry and things of that nature, what you fail to realize is they're only teaching you how to look at the book through the right light. So if you already know how to read the Bible for yourself, you already got the hardest occult book, but your ability to interpret it is what's wrong. So when you get into masonry and things of that nature, they're just teaching you to practice. And then when you understand it, you'll start to see they're practicing the things in the Bible. So the Bible is all their practices and things of that. So you didn't have to become a Mason to even know that. So when you are an individual joining a lodge, that's why they tell you you have to at least believe in something, because it's going to lead you to that light of Lucifer, of the intellectual property of how they constructed all these religions in the first place. So if you see a person like for an example, I know all the religions. So if I see a Mason and they just into one religion, that's their light for their lodge, I just look at it like, well, you just ain't reached the highest degrees yet. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Now, his common brother, that's where y'all get the word brother from, and what's his name? Not the Hulk, the wrestler. Yeah, Hulk Hogan. But you know, Masons made wrestling and things of that nature based upon the term grapple and things of that nature, and in the Bible and shit. But if you join any lodge, only thing you learning is how to see the Bible through the right light. And it's basically the right light is they're basically teaching you you're supposed to practice these things and you're being the God on earth or some shit like that. And a religious person might hear that and be like, that's demonic, not understanding when you reach certain higher degrees in masonry, you learn that that's their practice, not you separating their practice because they call it God and you saying that they're devils. No, when you get to a higher degree of masonry, you learn that that's their practice, and they start to teach you how all the Bibles was made and things of that nature. So that's why they say it's important for you to be a Mason, to be into some type of religious spiritual system before you join, because the individuals already know that's in the higher degrees of how they even made the lodge, where the lesser degrees may not be aware of that's the path of leading you to understanding that what they did anyway, and based upon your interaction with the lodge and how you go into degrees, they're watching your character to see if you're the type of person to react and respond in such a way that when they do release this information to you, you act accordingly, because some people can't handle certain things. So this is why they got certain degrees and shit, because the degrees is just based on discipline. But you don't know what's actually going on. What the Masons is actually seeing from the people that they got going through these things, as the people who run the world, like the shadow government, is they're building your mind, your character, but they're also keeping a watch of how you react to responding. And based on your reaction and response, that let them know if you have the character or not to go to the next level of information they're getting ready to receive you. So if you come in and you extremely religious out with only one light, only one Bible, then for the most part, if they see you going through the degrees and you're not reacting and responding in ways that if they was to give you some information to tell you that religion is wrong, or it's connected to this and it's actually used as a practice for this, so this, if they see that you got certain characteristics that you wouldn't handle certain knowledge like that, you would stay in that degree and just become a person with like a student debt, and anytime you're needed for a lecture or needed for something for community services, you will stay that type of Mason. So those the type of Masons I be saying y'all ain't shit. Saying like y'all ain't got no tide on Uriel, or you don't know nothing and things of that nature. You didn't know what you involved in. But at the same time, you have to understand the involvement in general. And this is also why I call all religious and Bible thumpers fake Masons, because they're not even seeing a book through the right light. So they don't practice these things for themselves. They follow it. So their following lead them to just supporting the shadow government and building their world and becoming master builders, slaves, building their religion for them, becoming preachers and theologians, building their entertainment for them, becoming celebrities, building their business for them, becoming people with jobs, building their politics for them, y'all willing to vote for them to have control over the laws and the circumstance, and building their education for them, you learning their curriculum to teach in their schools or to learn from their schools to do whatever thing that they have presented for you as far as survival mode. security, stability, support, shelter, and safety. And they only have those 5 pillars in order. That's why John Calvin is a Mason, to have you conduct within these programs. That will be business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. You know what I'm saying? So if you know how to read the Bible the right way, you ain't got to go in no lodges or nothing like that, and you will be able to understand it for yourself. For an example, right? You might be an occultist, and you might think you ain't religion, but you might get in the occultist book, and they might teach you a certain hum, like hum, hey, like whenever you're doing your ritual and spell. Now, you don't know that we are creating words based upon trigonometry of the alignments when we was making the cuneiform a hieroglyphic. So putting a spell together as above, so below is creating a sigil, each seasonal transition, all the way down to the week, to the day, how we categorize it as calendars back when we was making cuneiforms and hieroglyphics, right? And match divide, and the vibe match the organ and the desire as below in your microcosm astrology, right? So basically, when you're humming in alignment like a transit, and you're trying to harness that mental state, and you're praying on it, speaking your word, aka intent and word energy, into that alignment, and trying to have that alignment wear out as an aura in your life wherever you direct that energy towards. For an example, let's say Mars sextile Venus, right? Then that'll be a certain hum. Now, when you get into the deep, now the regular occultists, this is why they be manifesting a lot of demon spirits and shit like that, because they don't be knowing what they doing either. When you understand and practice for yourself, you understand how a person made the mathematics for you to look at it like a spell, so you could do it on instant. For an example, the sun is in Pisces, right? So everything is based on the stars as above and as below, our organs and our vowels. So towards the east, that's hey, north ha, west ho, catty corner west, hue, and then all the way to the bottom and catty corner east, he. So that's hey, hi, ho, hue, he. That's holy, 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 holy. So that's your A-E-I-O-U, basically. And when you reverse it back to the spiritual way, hey, hi, ho, hue, he. Now, this is how you understand how they're making Hiram. They're taking when the sun rises from the east, hey. And when it rises noon, 12 p.m., ha. And when you put that two together, that's hey. So when you bring that together, this is how you starting to harness that energy, and then we can say we're praying on Yahweh or some shit like that, right? Yah, ha, ra, way, hey, hey. So this is when you do it in reverse, and then when you say Yahweh, you're basically the Yah part, the Yah portion of it will be fire. Once you get to Veh, that's going to get to water. Once you get to Yah again, that's going to get to air. Then you get to Veh. That get to motherfucking earth. Yahweh, Yahweh. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, fire, water, air, earth. The 4 corners, aka, is just a mental concept of squaring out your magic circle, because your spirit is your space, the perimeter, no thing. And when you understand your 4 corners, you understand all sides of it from an intellectual masculine side of it. Now the logical perspective, right? So for an example, now if the sun is in Pisces right now, let's say if I'm doing a spell and I got an altar right now and I got a holy table up there, right? So the magic square is always going to be when I just start to square something out. So I just might make a motherfucking star on there or something like that, a pentagram. Now here's the thing, I'm going to place each object that represent the planet, but if you have to be you have to be into astrology, you have to use all these as tools, or this is how you attract spiritual demons and shit, because you don't got the right intent in there. You're not aware of everything, so you manifest not being aware of everything. So you get blinded by people, places, and things, and not having a full scope of everything that you're doing. But for the most part, here's the thing. Each individual planet, you'll get 10. So you can get 7, but I like to do 10. And get each object that represent the planet. And for the most part, you could probably put on a diamond around your monad. Probably put a cup on the right as the diamond, on the top of the diamond. On the right of the diamond, probably put a sword or a knife or something like that, or a calculator. On the left, you could put a wand or the candle. I prefer a candle. And on the bottom part, when you're making a diamond, to square out the secret circle, right, you'll put like a tree branch or something like that, or a leaf or something like that. So that represents the 4 elements, right? So you'll have on the east a candle, on the north part of the diamond, a cup, put some water in it, because you want to make sure. And then on the left, put a sword or a calculator or a pencil or a knife. And on the bottom, put a tree or a rock or a box, or a little small box or a crystal or a gem. Anything that represents earth element. right? Because, you know, after you practice your ritual or spell, you know, whatever you burnt on the paper or in the tent, you want to make sure you light it with the flame of the candle, and you actually put it out with the water you got in your cup. That's on the cancer part of the diamond, and therefore you make the air and earth, because what was written on it participates as the air element, and is written on something, a piece of paper that represents the earth element. So that steam that go up is automatically connected to the sword or the leaf that you got on the actual holy circle altar and shit like that. And therefore you speed up the process, because this is how we created our mind and our organs: fire, water, air, and earth, both sides of it, masculine and feminine. And then you be inside of it and see the many different transitions of it that we call air and earth. But it's just a transition of water and fire interacting. And for water and fire is the two sides of a temperament. When one temperament density condensing level is lighter than the other, the lighter side will be considered masculine or fire, the heavier side will be considered water or emotion. And then for the most part, the more intent or awareness you put into something, if you put a limited awareness on something, it's fire. If you put a heavy awareness on something, it's water. So that what makes the condensity level heavy, water, lighter, fire. And when you mix these things together, you get intellect, awareness, information, that you learn how to square out the circle of the thing that you are in, that you created the lighter version of how you created that bigger form in the first place, which is a mind. That will be air, intellect, communication, travel, you being able to travel within your circle that you just created, but the actual awareness of it, your halo, your energy, your mind, your fire and water. Then you get to make shapes and forms out of it, make it make sense, practicalize it, construct it, make it maintain a position or a form before it even becomes physical. That's the earth element of it, and things of that nature. Then we experience these representations down here. So for the most part, when you start to understand the Bible and all this motherfucker shit, right, you will start to understand that, okay, they're just teaching you how to practice these things, so you don't need to go in no Masonic lodge or anything of that nature, because you'll start to understand it for yourself. So for the most part, here's the thing: let's say you get each object that represents each planet. Let's say you got like a little candy fish that you put on the area where Pisces will be at on your magic circle on your altar, right? That represents the sun then, right? So if you're doing you're going to do a 7 hum or a 10 hum, and each object that you put in a position of the star that represent the planet where it's at right now in the sky, this is how you know this is the starting point that they was at when they was teaching you this, for you to do this even when we're not going through that alignment. And you just think you calling on an angel with your humming in Catholicism or Masonry or something like that. You be on mixing days together. No, you could do it right now. How the practice is how it's met. So right now, if the sun is in Pisces, whatever object you put on there, before you start to burn out your objects and blow out the candle, stuff like that, you're going to do the little humming. A 7 hum or a 10 hum of how many objects you're going from the sun to Saturn or the sun to Pluto. And then each object, right, is going to be a representation of that element that sign is in, that you put on the magic square that represents the as above, so below. So if the sun is in Pisces, you'll put that little fishy candy on the little space on the monad where Pisces will be at, right, on the zodiac. And then therefore, you will start to hum as hey, because Pisces is he. You know what I'm saying? Once you start to go toward east, is hey. So but you will only make a hum based on the planets. So since it's planets in Aries, let's say for an example, we got Jupiter in Aries and the sun in Pisces. That'll be a hum like he, hey. Then let's say Mars is in Gemini. So that's he, hey, har. Because once you go high, that's high, that's north. And then once you go oh, that's west. When you go counter corner to find the angel trigonometry, it's har. So this how what makes your life hard, when you have to look to this side too much. When you're trying to bring things that you're thinking about, you look to this side, that side of it, as far as your 1150. But when you're going across Cancer, high, and you're going over into Leo, it becomes high hard, not high hey. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no thought that you are trying to express. It's a thought that you're trying to receive, and you might be not seeing in that. So it can create mentalities of it being hard or hardship and things of that nature, or a hard time thinking. So anytime you're having a confusion in a situation, or it's hard to think about something, you find yourself even looking to that area with your organs that you made with that chakra and that rainbow. You'll look to that area and be like, I can't figure something out. You see what I'm saying? You don't know why you do that, but I just told you why you do that. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Thank you so much for the donation. Your big bro Sanchez and this motherfucking shit. Real shit. Y'all go subscribe to Big Bro Sanchez if y'all ain't subscribed yet in this motherfucking shit, because we running the conscious community right now with real logic and reasoning, real synchronicities. You know what I'm saying? Syncretism in this motherfucking shit. If you can't compare and contrast, get the hell out the kitchen because it gets too hot. You know what I'm saying? You might get flunked out in your mind because you lost in one of the things in the kitchen. Then the kitchen got hot because, you know, all the water started to blend together. Then that synchronism started to hit their brain like, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. I don't care if I see the same wings. Oh, no, this is not that. It's not that. I don't care if I see the same sacrificial lamb. Oh, no, it's not that. Not that. Then, God damn it, new trolls get created. Oh, I'm saying that's the birth of trolls. The birth of trolls in this world. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, people ain't shit. But shout